Hello, we are reading through A Spy in Siberia this year, and this is for third of ESO. The main characters in this story are Dr. Eric Carlson, Louise Silva, Dr. Edith Nielsen, and Fiona Stone. Actually, the main character here, I believe, would be either could be Dr. Eric Carlson or Fiona Stone. We read most of the stories about Fiona Stone and her adventure. She is in this book as a spy, and she keeps the story moving along quickly. We are in chapter 1. Let's start with chapter 1. The title of the chapter is called A Shocking Interruption. In Stockholm, Sweden, the world's top scientists came together for a meeting. They met in a magnificent hall and took their seats, facing the stage. The atmosphere was electric. Everyone was excited about the presentation of Dr. Eric Carlson. When Dr. Carlson finally appeared on the stage, everyone applauded loudly. Here was the world's leading environmental scientist who had helped to develop many important projects. His company had built wind farms for renewable energy. And while he was still at university, he had developed a system to predict exactly when earthquakes would occur. He was passionate about preserving the planet and was often invited to speak with world leaders to discuss the dangers of climate change. He had written many books about the subject. Dr. Carlson had promised that today he would reveal his most amazing discovery to date. Everyone was intrigued about what he would say. When the applause finally stopped, Dr. Carlson spoke to his audience with a powerful voice. "Good evening, my respected colleagues," he said. "It's no secret that our beloved planet is becoming too hot. Transport, industry, agriculture, and the use of fossil fuels have all contributed to this problem. As the temperature of the planet rises, there are more natural disasters than there used to be, more droughts and floods. Many people have died, and many different species of plants and animals have become extinct." The audience listened in silence. They already knew these things. They waited impatiently for him to reveal his latest discovery. "The biggest problem, of course, is that much of our planet is covered in ice," Dr. Carlson continued. "If the earth gets too hot, the ice melts. The seas will rise and flood the land. Millions of people could die. Global warming is too dangerous to ignore." The scientists applauded in agreement. "Well, my friends, I tell you no more. I have found a way to slow down global warming." The audience was impressed. Could this really be true? It would be the most important discovery of all time. Could Dr. Carlson have a solution to save the environment? "Let me tell you how it can be done," he said. But an unexpected sound from above caused him to stop. A loud explosion shook the room. The lights in the hall turned on and off. The scientists jumped out of their seats and ran toward the exits. Everyone was confused and afraid, running and screaming. Dr. Carlson fell to the ground. A series of holes appeared in the ceiling. Sunlight illuminated the hall below. Long black ropes were let down through the holes until they touched the carpet. Then some figures began to climb down the ropes into the room. They were dressed in black with masks covering their faces. Within seconds, a large group of them had invaded the hall. Were they soldiers? Terrorists? Why would they attack a scientific convention? The intruders ran toward the stage and captured Dr. Carlson. They put a bag over his head and tied his hands and legs together. Seconds later, they carried him down from the stage to where the ropes were hanging. Nobody had the courage to try to stop them. One of the intruders held onto the scientist firmly as he took one of the ropes. The ropes were pulled up, and the intruders disappeared through the holes into the ceiling, taking Dr. Carlson with them. The world's leading environmental scientist had disappeared, and nobody knew why. The sound of the helicopter above could be heard above. At first, it was loud, but it got quieter and quieter as it disappeared into the sky. The scientists were in shock. They simply could not believe that the incredibly talented Dr. Carlson was kidnapped right there in front of their own eyes, just before revealing his most important discovery. And they had done nothing to help him. It had all happened so quickly. Has it ever happened to you where something just happens so quick that you can't react? You just freeze. Some people, when something happens, they just react quickly. No, they have a solution. They just do something. For me, I freeze usually. Something happens quickly, or there's a situation. It's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I just freeze. Different vocabulary. Wind farms. What are wind farms? Wind farms are like energy fields that use windmills wind turbines to create electricity. But many of them together. There are several in Spain. In fact, there are some smaller wind farms here in Jumilla for renewable energy. So we have different types of energy. We have, mainly fossil fuel type energy like coal, petrol, natural gas. That would be fossil fuel type energy. And then we have renewable energy. What are the different types of renewable energy? Solar energy, wind farms, solar. Those are some of the big ones. Sometimes they're doing some windmills under the sea to create energy with the sea. Bioenergy. Some people are trying different types of bioenergy. I think the most common would be either these wind farms, which use large turbines to create electricity, or solar panels create renewable energy as well. We already talked about fossil fuels. Droughts is when for a long time, no water, no rain. That's a drought. Flood is when you have lots of rain, too much rain, and then it just floods the area. It's too much water. Animals become extinct. They no longer exist. For example, dinosaurs are extinct. They no longer exist. What are some animals in Spain that are in danger of extinction? Well, the lynx. No, the bear. I believe there's a Cantabrian bear that's close to extinction as well. Ice melts. So when ice freezes, when water freezes, it becomes ice. And when ice turns to water, we call it melting. Ice melts to water. Water freezes to ice. Okay? Global warming is when the average temperature all over the globe, or the planet Earth, gets hotter. That's global warming. Okay. Kidnapped is when you take someone and against their will. It's when you take someone who's free, who normal, do whatever they want, and you take them and you put them somewhere where they can't get out, or you're taking them by force to another place. That's called kidnapping. It's not very nice. Anyway, thank you. And we'll move on to chapter 2 next time. Goodbye.